Call to meeting the Piqua City School Board of Education board meeting for April 26, 2017. Will the treasurer call the roll, please?
Here.
Mr. Bostic. Here. Mr. Patrizio.
Here. And now I ask everybody to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
That looked really funny.
I did there when I got up. I thought, whoa.
Moving on in the meeting, I'll look at item number 4 and ask for an approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the March 30th minutes?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes have been approved. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. Does any board member have anything to add to the agenda? Okay, I ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And we'll move on to board reports. First was the legislative report. I left it on here just a little bit to have Mr. Hiddle update us a little bit about the budget at the state level.
So this afternoon, I received a text message or a email message that said that there was a new bill that I haven't had the chance, because it came late today, to look at, that basically put another chunk of money into public education. They're increasing the per pupil amount a little bit and tinkering with the formula a little bit more. So there should be a spreadsheet that they're sending out to let us know what that looks like. So the process is still ongoing, and like I said, I don't know that, well, there we go. It's printed off. Somebody has it printed off for me. $6,020 a year from $6,000 and increases the gain cap from 5.5% from 5%. So these are just mild changes. There's supposed to be a spreadsheet that will actually show me what it's going to do for the impact to our district. So that's what I need to see and get my hands wrapped around to be able to know what's going on. So, but that process still continues, and we're going to keep an eye on it. I'm told that we should have something more finalized. I'm going to a meeting on May 5th in Columbus. I'm on the OASBO Finance Committee, and we are going to delve into this further to make sure that where we're going to be at. So right now we're still waiting because it's not finalized, but we're still working towards that.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on, we'll go to the Upper Valley Career Center report.
We've got several things to report. We had our meeting this past Monday, and just like we're doing tonight, we've got several policy revisions and changes to make it such a lovely thing to do. Other things, we had a spotlight with our interactive media class, and if you're not familiar with that, that's the class that does the websites, social media, things like that. And we had a student that just completed a website overhaul for RT Industries. And it's a great opportunity for their students. It's also a great opportunity for a business to use those kids, and they did a great job. They showed the website, and it's much more user-friendly. It's a lot more informative, and it's really a lot more attractive than what they had before that. Also, on some positive notes, one of our instructors, Jeff Burkey, has been named Skills USA Advisor of the Year. So that's a nice feather in our cap. And also, in October, 2 of our instructors and 11 students will be traveling to Germany to do an exchange program to talk about our apprenticeship program that we have been doing here. They were there last year talking about apprenticeship. And then in September, German students are coming to Piqua, and they're going to be spending time at the Career Center looking at our apprenticeship program. So those are some of the good things that are happening, and our next meeting is May 22nd at the Career Center.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on, do I have I have the hearing of the public, and on agenda items, I don't have any paperwork in front of me that indicates anyone's here to talk about that, so we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Mr. Hiddle.
Good evening. The first thing on the list to discuss tonight is just to let the board know that negotiations are complete. We were able to come to an agreement. The membership voted on that on Friday of last week, and it was approved overwhelmingly, according to the president of the membership, Russ Sponsel. And so that is out of the way, and I appreciate all the help that I've gotten along the way working on that. Due to the situation we're currently in with having board members who have spouses on the board, as employees, we're not able to vote on that. So if the public is wondering why the board is not voting to approve the negotiated agreement, it's because of the potential conflicts of interest in that. So I have signed off on that, and the 30-day clock starts, and legally the contract will become binding at that time. So I think it's important for everyone to know that, no, the board will not be voting on the contract, but it will become binding after 30 days from approval. Any questions?
No, thank you for your work on that. And just so the public understands that the board members that had spouses that were employed with the school actually were not allowed to even participate in the negotiation. The other two members, along with the treasurer, kind of spurred it along.
Yep.
Thank
And-
you for
and
those who did that.
And I say the superintendent also recused himself from negotiations when it dealt with financial matters as well, because his spouse works for the district. So just to keep it all clean. Second thing on there is the Moody's rating. Just we get an annual rating now from Moody's, and just wanted to let everyone know that our bond rating has stayed the same. It's a AA3. That's consistent with what they've had us at in the past. Our S&P rating is one notch higher at a AA2. But our outlook is good, and we're stable. And one of the biggest underlying things that from the report is that we continue to maintain a healthy cash balance, especially considering they look at the growth of the district, looking at our valuations and those things that haven't changed very much in the last 10 years, basically. So to continue to keep that and maintain that cash balance does keep our bond rating at a decent level, which if we ever would need to issue debt for any reason, that's important to make sure that it's not expensive. So just good to show that we're still continuing to maintain, and it was a good report overall. You got any questions on that?
No, thank you.
And the third thing that I have is the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The district was awarded that again this year. I believe that's our 18th year of getting that, if I'm counting correctly. So we are continuing that tradition, and it's always an honor to be able to turn that in and get our CAFR recognized. And again, we put out a CAFR on purpose, which is a comprehensive annual fiscal review. It's sort of like a second audit when you're going for a bond rating, or you're having conversations with the public, or if you're working with the county auditor's office. Those things are always helpful to be able to show what your financial position is for the district. So it's just good to make sure that we've done everything we're supposed to be doing fiscally, and there was a good report on that as well. So we've got that, and I'm hearing that I should be getting some more news on another award that we get annually at this point. So I'll probably have that information for you for May.
Well, we thank you for your work in receiving that award, and also your staff. I know they work hard for you also.
I couldn't do it without them.
All right, let's move on to the treasurer's agenda.
Any questions about the March financial reports? Okay.
I have
That's
a
all I have.
motion to approve the treasurer's agenda.
So moved?
I have a second.
Second?
The treasurer call the roll, please.
Mr. Luby.
Aye.
Mr. Bostic.
Aye.
Mr. Gregerson.
Aye.
Mr. Height.
Aye.
Mr. Patrizio.
Aye. And moving on, we're at item G in our agenda, and it is the superintendent's report.
Thank you. We have a tradition where at the building where we host the board meeting, we have the principal come forward and talk a little bit about the academic achievement that's going on. So that gives us a chance to update the community on some of the great things that are happening at our building levels. And with us this evening, we have Mr. Clark, lead principal of the Pickle Junior High School, and Mr. Albers, our assistant principal.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. This will be a revisit of what we spoke about with you last year. We thought it would be worthwhile to revisit where things are at Piqua Junior High School. And actually this year, part of our report will include some information with PCIS, with Read 180. We just completed recently the mid-year gains meeting with the Read 180 representatives, and we have some exciting things to share. We identified some things we need to improve on as well. I put a couple packets at each of your spots. I'm going to talk about the one that looks like this, says gains analysis on the front. And I just want to highlight a few things. One of the great things about Read 180 is the information and the data that you can get and receive from them. It's also one of the challenging things is trying to sift through all those things. So I tried to highlight some of the major things. Believe it or not, this is about half of what they gave us. So trying to highlight some of the main things. So if you turn to the first page that says summary program usage, one of the first things we look at when they come in is implementation of the program. Are we as a district, as a building, are we implementing the program with fidelity? So the overall answer is yes, very much so. The Read 180 folks are extremely impressed with our staff, our teachers, what they do to implement the program. Some things to highlight on that page, if you look at the section that says software sessions, total, we've done 62, our students have done 62 software sessions, or had done 62 at the mid-year point. The expectation is about 100 for the whole year, so we're well over halfway to what they would expect out of us. The minutes per session that students are doing, we were at 15, they shoot for 16. Where they get the number 16, I'm not exactly sure. I can promise you they have some really detailed metrics that come up with that number. So we were a minute off at that point, and we talked about the fact that beginning of the year, the first half of the year, time is spent learning how to access the program. And this year at the intermediate school was the first year they did it at all, so their staff and their students were learning how. I would anticipate at the end of the year that is at least 16 minutes. We talked about that. The number of software content units covered. This is a critical number. I'll bring it back later, so remember this and I'll refer back to it. We've done 7, and they ask for 10 to 12 software units by the end of the year. So again, we're well over halfway through the material that they would expect us to get through by the end of the year, so that's a very positive thing. If you turn to the next page, Read 180, R skills and reading counts users. Read 180, real quickly, I'll summarize, is kind of a 3-part program. There's a software piece, there's an independent reading piece, and a small group with the instructor piece that happens every day. Kids cycle through and flow through each of those small groups. And what you want to see ultimately in that pie chart that you see there are exactly equal parts. And that is essentially what you see. And that is PCIS and Piqua Junior High School together. So it's being implemented very well and with fidelity at both places. Next page, Read 180, R skills and reading counts. That just breaks it down a little bit by building. It's that same chart, and it's broken down by building, the number of students in the program at each building. 80 students enrolled at PCIS, 57 here at the junior high, and how many out of each of those numbers are accessing all 3 parts of that program. So again, if kids are in the program, they are equally and regularly accessing all parts of the program. So that's a very positive thing as well. Getting into some of the growth that we've seen, some of the results. Next page, summary reading inventory growth metrics. We'll just walk across the page. The first bar is the percentage of students with Lexile gains. So what percentage of the students in the programming this year are showing measurable gains in reading? 2/3 of them at the halfway point have had some measurable gain. 44% of our students in Read 180 have already met their year-end goal. They've already met a year-long goal halfway through the year. So almost half of our students have already met the expectation for the year. We have 18% of our students who have doubled their end-of-year goal. That's again between Piqua Junior High School and Piqua Central Intermediate. The last one, there's an abbreviation on there I want to clarify for you. That's CCR, stands for College and Career Readiness. They break it into multiple categories from basic to advanced. And if a student advances from one category to another, that's what they get credit for there. So 24% of our students have advanced from one category to another. Many of our students that we identify for this program start in the limited category, which is the lowest. And the lowest category, the limited category, is by far the largest span. It goes from 0 to about a 600 Lexile score. Lexile is a measure of reading comprehension, and the rest of the bands are about 200-point bands. So we had kids starting as low as, over time, we've had kids who don't even register a score. They register as what's called a beginning reader. So some of them are starting at a very low rate. So they may have made 200, 300, 400-point gains and still are staying in that same band. So that sometimes is a little misleading. So I like to point that out. I think we'll see that a little bit later. The next page, I like this one. We asked for a follow-up on this one because what they didn't give us on this slide was names to go with the numbers. I like the title of it. It's Read 180 Superstars. These are kids in our program that have done some pretty amazing things already this year. They've completed at least 10 software sessions. They've completed at least one segment in the software, and they have a growth rate that is higher than expected. And we have 47 students who meet those criteria out of the 137 total students that are participating in the program. And I know for a fact there are one or two other ones that get discounted because they had, it's actually you kind of get punished for a student who has a low starting score and grows so much that it almost becomes a statistical anomaly, and they actually pull them out. They can grow so much, and I think we had one or two students that fit that category. Mean Lexile gain, the next page. They broke this one down by building. Again, I mentioned Lexile score. The Lexile score is a measure of reading comprehension. The red bar on each of those is how much the average student has gained in Lexile points for the year. You can see that both schools, we are well over half to the year-end goal on average per student. So really good growth there, really good progression. The next page, Read 180 usage and reading inventory metrics. I talked about that number 7, number of segments completed. That's the average for our students. That directly correlates to the growth. That's the one metric, the one thing that they share with us that's so important. The more the kids spend on the program and on the computer, the more they're going to grow. And if you look at that percentage of students exceeding average growth column right in the middle where the green is, that's those two columns, that one and the last column are directly correlated. So our students participating in it every day, one of the things we've gotten feedback for 2 years from the Read 180 people at Pickwood Junior High School about is the fact that we use the exact model they prescribe and that they ask for, in that we work in a block schedule and our students are in language arts classes for 90 minutes a day and they are interacting with the software on a daily basis. Not everybody has that. Schools who have non-blocked language arts go more on an A-B schedule and are every other day kind of thing on the software, so we're able to take advantage of our resources that way. If you look at the next page, revised Read 180 results, as we looked at the data, they noticed about 9 students who, for many reasons, showed either no growth or low growth, or even occasionally there was negative growth, and a lot of factors, and that's one of the things we need to look at, are who are those kids and why. We know a lot of them already. Some attendance issues we've had, some home front type issues that students have had, so we have a few of those identified. But if you take those students out who affected us in a negative way, or affected the numbers in a negative way, the growth becomes even more positive exponentially. So we had a handful of students who impacted the statistics, so they took a look at it that way. And again, going back to participating and completing those Read 180 segments, the last slide in this packet, you can see the direct correlation to growth. The more kids are on the software in the program, the more they grow. And it breaks it down. The first column is number of students that we've had who have done under 5 segments, and you can see that their growth is not nearly as high. To the far right, we had 8 students who completed 13 or more segments, and they have an average Lexile gain of 88 points, which is extremely significant. So we continue to notice those things. We continue to focus in on kids who aren't participating at that level and at that rate, and try to intervene and figure out why not and encourage them to do so. So I'm extremely excited. I didn't see if Mrs. Gerhart was here tonight. She works closely with the Read 180 folks at PCIS, and they've done a wonderful job of implementing this year. Really good feedback for them from the Read 180 consultants and what they've done to implement it, and we're seeing wonderful results. I'm going to ask Chad to come forward and talk about some more specific results. One of the things we wanted to do was look at the students we placed last year in Read 180 who continued to participate in the program this year and what has happened with them, and we've seen some pretty cool things.
Thank you. Good evening. There's another packet that you have in front of you, and it says growth report at the very top of it. And these are the students that we have at Pickwood Junior High that have been in the program for 2 years. On the bottom left-hand side of the first paper, it says purpose. And in that purpose, it discusses the average Lexile growth for a year. If you do the math there quickly, it's in 2 years, you should have a Lexile growth of 150 to 200 points. The average of our students at Pickwood Junior High that were in Read 180 had an average Lexile growth of 260 points, so it's a pretty significant growth. And you can see on the right-hand column of that chart is the growth in Lexile points, which, again, is significant. On the back side, I just wanted to give a brief perspective that a student has, and they had wrote a paper, and I'll just highlight a few points. Starting on the first paragraph, it said, when I found out that I was registered for Read 180, I was completely annoyed. I did not belong in a class for struggling readers, but I now know that Read 180 has made a big difference for me. She goes on to say, I can spell so many more words and know what they actually mean. Read 180 has also made me read faster. Thanks to Read 180, I can read, spell, and write. I am so happy that I was registered into Read 180. So just a student perspective of the program, they love it. So thank you.
And I would be really remiss if I didn't mention here at Pickwood Junior High School the job that Angie Ford does in the classroom. She is the only teacher we have this year teaching in the Read 180 program, and she does an amazing job. Started it last year for us, and I know Brandy Clark and Amy Honeycutt at PCIS are the folks that are implementing it there. And again, their implementation and their results are coming right alongside where Angie's have been. So pretty fantastic stuff. That's a lot of data too, though. So any questions?
Jeff, how many kids are involved in Read 180?
We have 57, I believe. One of the slides said here at Pickwood Junior High School. Closer to 80 at the intermediate school. I can tell you the exact numbers if you give me a second. 80 at PCIS, 57 at Pickwood Junior High. And we've had some kids in and out. Over the years, we've had some transitions with move-ins, move-outs kind of things. So we shoot for 20 per section. 21 is the magic number that Read 180 says you really can't or shouldn't have more than 21 students in one of those classes. And kids get broken into 3 groups by level, and it's 7 in a group. And again, they rotate. It's an every 20-minute thing. It is absolute science and clockwork down there in that classroom. Those kids know exactly, they run the process. They run the process, and Angie just facilitates, and it's an amazing thing to watch.
First year?
This is year 2. This is year 2 for us, of many, I hope. I know that this is a significant investment for the district, and I think one that is well worthwhile, in my opinion. I would anticipate in talking with Mr. Bloom and Mrs. Anderson and the folks at PCIS, a lot of the students who started this year, what we saw with the data that Chad shared with you is that it really, for some kids, took year 2 to really have things start to click and really show that growth. So some of those students, even who maybe haven't shown the excessive amounts of growth at PCIS this year, I would anticipate with another year or even 2 with us, just have the opportunity and the potential to just blossom like crazy.
What happens to the students that leave 8th grade?
What happens this year? The plan in working with Mr. Messick and his folks over at the junior or at the high school, it depends on the kid. It depends on the student. We have some students who, if you look at the growth report that Chad shared with you, for example, the young lady at the very top of the list, I talked about students testing as what they call a beginning reader. This young lady tested last year in 7th grade as a beginning reader. She now, if you look at her score, it's 1,022 Lexile. Anytime you see green on a chart, it's good, right? Green is good. So she is at and above grade level. She's somebody who could easily probably go into a general or even a college prep English class at the high school. A lot of the kids who still have a need for intervention and a need for additional support, Mr. Messick, Mr. Bloom, and the folks at the high school are working on creating, I believe, a block class, like similar to their math block for the language arts program. And we're using this data to really try to place the correct students into that program. I would imagine a lot of these kids will be the ones that continue into that program. What we learned about Read 180 really early with the folks, and these are people that are trying to sell you something for a lot of money, and they hesitate to even talk high school. They have not shown a great deal of success with their program at the high school level. for a lot of reasons, but so they didn't suggest that we carry this into high school when we looked at it last year or 2 years ago, going over and visiting over in Dublin, Ohio. So, but they have some wonderful plans in place to try to help those kids who are still not where we want them to be.
One of the selling points was the fact that they embed their professional development all year long with the teachers. So it's not a one-time training for the teacher, then they abandon you. They actually come back and train and follow up. And they also allowed other teachers not teaching Read 180 to go through the training so they could implement the same strategies with other materials in their classrooms. So we got a really good benefit from the training process.
Yeah, aside from the materials and the resources you get with the software, it really is just very solid instructional strategies. And again, a lot of our other teachers have picked up on, even if they don't have the software available, the routines and the types of strategies that Angie uses in there that they've picked up and have run within their own classrooms. It's been pretty awesome.
It'll be nice to see, too, how this will interpret when test scores come in. I know they constantly change tests, but it'd be nice to see how they grow.
We had that conversation. Teresa Anderson was with me when we did the mid-year meeting with the Read 180 folks, and that was something we requested from them as quickly as we can get them our test results when we get the preliminary results in June. The problem last year was not getting the results from the state till November or whenever we got them finally. So they are ready to go. They've done it a million times for other people. They have just armies of data people who I don't resent their jobs, I don't know. So, but all we have to do is shoot them that spreadsheet and they will do those correlations for us. Very responsive folks too. I mean, they provide a really, really nice service.
It's important to note, too, that this is the second year of the new state error assessment, so it'll take a good 3 years to get a really good correlation to be able to predict if this score gives a student a passing test on that. So it'll probably be a year out.
If it's it's something I've always given validity to. If value-added results from the state are any reliable measure, and I believe they are, Angie Ford's value-added scores, and she taught Read 180 last year, were extremely, extremely high. And that measures the growth of a student. Students grew tremendously in her class last year. Okay. Anything else?
Anybody else?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Joe.
Next, I always want to point out the fact that our board does a great job of getting out into our schools and seeing what's happening in the programs that we have. But I got a contact from some teachers this last week asking if they could come to a board meeting and share something, and we never turn that offer down. So, Ms. Mitchum, are you going to be the first to come up and speak? Okay, this is students from Piqua Central Intermediate School.
All right, I'm going to have to put this down low because they're a lot shorter than I am. So, guys ready? Okay. So just pick a slide and read, okay? Go ahead and stop it.
This is a slideshow of the PCS teacher tickets. Aren't you glad you received a teacher ticket? Mrs. Patton and Mrs. Mitchum's class project. Mrs. Patton and Mrs. Mitchum's class want to reward the teachers for being kind to us. We want to thank our teachers and staff at PCIS for helping us learn, leading us to a great education, and making school fun.
Idea. We came up with the idea of teacher tickets and reward coupons so we could be helpful and assist the teachers with jobs around the classroom.
Teachers can also earn extra recess, a hug, principal teach the class, students teach a class, blue jeans day, read with a student. This is part of the Indian way, and PBIS, it is a way to be kind, respectful, responsible, and help one and another. We want to spread this project to the entire school and the district.
We want to show our community of Piqua that we are Ohio innovators. We care about our community and we love our teachers.
This says thank you and a whole bunch of ideas that we came of. Do you have any questions?
Well, how'd you like school this year?
It's good.
Good? Who's your favorite teacher?
One of those two.
Unfair question.
Okay, and then I want each of you to come up front here. Come in the center. Because the camera doesn't get you over there. So, I'm going to turn you this way, okay? And I want you to say who you are, who your parents are, and what grade you're in, okay? And what's your favorite thing about school, okay?
My name is Karina and I'm in 4th grade and my mom named Heather came with me. My favorite thing about school is science.
Science? Very good, very good.
I'm Caitlin and my parents, my mom and my grandma came with me. And my favorite subject in school is science.
Science is winning.
My name is Jeremiah, and my parents' name are Kashina Millett, and she came with me today, and my favorite subject is science.
Very good.
My name is Bryson. I came with my mom and my dad and my brother. And my favorite subject is social studies.
And what grade are you in?
4th.
4th grade. Very good.
My name's Ariel. And my mom's name is Kelly. She came with me. And my favorite thing in school is social studies.
Okay.
My name is Chloe Rexroth, and I came with my mom and my sister. I'm in grade 4, and my favorite subjects are math and science.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchum and Mrs. Patton. And I noticed how well all of our students are dressed. You guys look really great tonight, so thank you for being here tonight. You're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go out and enjoy this great weather if you want, if you don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, so the choice is up to you, okay? You won't hurt our feelings either way. In the transition, I would like to invite Mr. Bloom forward to talk about a special recognition that Spring Creek Primary School earned for the best school in Ohio to connect to the Nature Ward. Mr. Bloom?
Good evening and thank you. I'd like to request in the future I not have to follow student presentations like that. It's really a letdown. A few years ago, there was a gentleman named Richard Louv who wrote a book called Last Child in the Woods. It was about connecting kids back with nature, with the outside and the opportunities that kids have to learn when they go outside. Well, that kind of sparked a national conversation about connecting students to nature, which translated itself to Ohio. Mr. Louv originally challenged cities across the country to get their kids back outside, be a little bit more green. Ohio kind of picked up on that, and the Miami County Park District took it a little bit further and decided to challenge schools to do this. Well, we took that challenge on, and I'm happy to say, Mrs. Straley alluded to this last month, that Spring Creek was awarded the first award for this challenge in Ohio. We are the only school in the state that has been designated as a school to win this award. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're the only one in the country to have this. I know that other schools will follow. And in fact, Cinda Pinkerton from the Park District took our application and has gone to a couple of state and national conferences with it and has shared the work that we're doing to show other people that, hey, you can do this too. I wanted very quickly just to give you some aspects of what that meant to have this award be designated, or Spring Creek designated. Some of the things that we're doing or encouraging with our students is to be physically active, play outside. I know that sounds simple. It's not always to get outside and play. You talked about the beautiful weather. Go and enjoy it. We want our kids to have access to safe and natural green spaces. That land lab around Spring Creek is perfect for that, and we have our kids out accessing that as part of their curriculum. We want to encourage our kids to spend their free time outside. We want to discover the wonder of plants and animals, use their senses. Our art teachers, our music teachers are getting kids outside to do that. They wanted to, we give information to encourage our kids to go out and explore Ohio's natural resources. We have a wealth just in this county of parks for kids to go and explore. We've incorporated patterns of nature, the cycles of nature into our curriculum. We are encouraging parents to spend time with their kids, not just time, but time outside, whether it's through camping or exploring some of these natural resources, to go out and enjoy that. The research really shows that the more that kids are outside, the healthier they are. And the healthier they are, the more they learn. So that is what at the crux of this award. If you have the chance to drive by Spring Creek, you will see it's hanging proudly right outside. All of the kids came out on the day that it was awarded. They all applauded, and appropriately, it was all outside, right around where that banner was hung. So if you'd like more information, I'd be glad to share that. Please keep your eye on this. You will see Piqua City Schools represented well with this as a leader in this movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Just a quick follow-up on that, a really interesting piece, the research that went behind this was looking at asking questions of people at different generations. So they went to grandparents and asked them questions like, have you looked up at cloud shapes? Have you played in mud puddles? Have you rolled around in a creek? Done those kinds of things, and almost all the grandparents shook their head yes or answered yes. Went to the next generation, less people said yes, got to students, and a lot of students did not answer yes to those questions. So lots of grants and lots of opportunities are coming forward to try to get kids back outside and play and do all those important things, catching worms, rolling in the grass, and just playing. So we're very fortunate that some great land has been donated to Spring Creek for their land lab, and some really good things are happening out there. So thank you, Mr. Bloom, for your work, and Mrs. Straley for your work, and your teachers. Next, we have Jessica Sizemore, who's going to come forward and talk about the district gifted services plan. She had to do quite a bit of work on this to get it ready for board approval so that we can submit it to the State Department so we can be in compliance with our gifted services. So Jessica's going to give you some insight into that, and you'll be voting on this a little bit later.
It is connected to the board docs, so you hopefully had a chance to look over the document. It, again, was for compliance for our operating standards for gifted, and it just goes through the process of how we identify our gifted students, as well as how we are servicing them within our school district. Since we have changed from a pull-out enrichment program to a co-teaching system, the state requires that we update our service plan, and we have to attach this with our self-report, our gifted self-report, by July 15th of each year. So things that were changed in there are that we are doing whole grade screenings for 2nd grade and 6th grade at different points in time throughout the year. We will keep doing gifted referrals through teachers, parents, children can refer themselves. Other changes that were in here, again, that we went from a pull-out gifted model to a co-teaching model. And this document supports not only PICWA's board policy, but also all of the operating standards for gifted that have been adopted for the next school year. Questions? That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you. A note that next week, the first week of May, is Educator Appreciation Week, Staff Appreciation Week for Piqua City Schools, and we're very proud of all of our staff members, and we have some great things that'll be happening that week for our staff, including our inaugural 5K walk run that will happen on May 4th, and we've invited staff and students and the community to get together with educators and join us for that walk or run. We are heading up to about the 280 count range of people participating. We're very excited about that. We have the awesome Piqua Foundation, who is sponsoring a big color burst and confetti blast at the end for a great photo opportunity. We're getting great comments about the shirts, and we're real excited about this race, and we hope that it really takes off so that each year it just gets stronger and stronger. So anyone interested can get on the Can't Stop Running website here in Piqua, and you can register there, or you can contact any school for a registration form. Next Monday, we'll be announcing who our Teacher of the Year is, so that's going to be exciting to find out who gets voted for that this Friday, and we'll make that announcement. It'll be a really special day for Piqua City Schools to recognize that person. Lastly, just want to highlight a couple things that are coming up. Tomorrow night on the 27th here at the Piqua Junior High School is the musical Annie, beginning at 8 o'clock, and our students have worked really hard for that, and it's going to be a great production. The Piqua High School announced their musical called Edges, and that'll take place on May 4th and May 5th at 8 o'clock. Tickets and seating are available. Seating is limited, so we are encouraging people to get your tickets early to make sure you get to that production. Our art show for the district for kindergarten through 12th grade students will be this Saturday from 1 to 5 at Piqua Central Intermediate, and we have some amazing art that will be displayed, so we really encourage people to come out and see the great artwork that our students have worked on all year long for their art portfolios. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the superintendent's agenda.
I'd like to recommend board approval of the attached list of donations. You want to do all of them or separately?
Let's do them all together.
Okay. Recommend board approval for the membership of the Ohio High School Athletic Association for the 2017-2018 school year. We do that each year to be a part of that program. Recommend board approval for the attached district gifted services plan that Jessica Sizemore just represented for our district as well.
Motion to approve the superintendent's agenda.
So move.
Have a second.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The superintendent's agenda has passed. Now we'll move on to personnel agenda. Mr. Lyons, why don't you give us some highlights?
I'll take plenty of time. Recommend board approval of the following personnel agenda items, and we have everything on here from FMLA to new staff members, and I see AJ Wagner actually is in the audience, and if you remember from some meetings past, we've talked a little bit about the WTVC board, or the station, and that's going to be out of Piqua High School next year, and Anthony, AJ, will be working with Damian Skeens closely to develop that program and to continue the process and the programming that already exists. So Anthony Ganger, but I've been instructed very clearly to make sure that it's AJ. So welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Also on the agenda this evening are several pieces, our 1-, 2-, and 3-year contracts, as well as our continuing contracts. And want to welcome and congratulate all those people for additional contracts. And especially want to recognize, I see Heath Butler out there in the audience tonight. He's going to be moving into an administrative position, assistant principal out of PCIS starting next year. Heath, would you like to come up and introduce your family? I see you've got everybody there. It reminds me of when I became the assistant principal at the high school and my little 2-year-old was crawling under. Some of you guys remember, he was so rotten, running across all over the place. You guys, like model children sitting out here. So now you guys hit him back in the back. You're good. So welcome.
Thank you, and I'm very excited about this opportunity. It was kind of a big night for the Butler family. We talked about Connie Straley, and Scott did a great job of talking about the great things going at Spring Creek, and I have 2 little guys that go there, and we're very proud of Spring Creek and what they do. I have a little science guy. I also have a son that has something in the art show. My wife also is up for a continuing contract. So just a great night for the Butler family. We're so happy to have roots in Piqua. Very excited about my new opportunities. Sad to leave the basketball program. I truly believe that I left it better than I found it. And as you do life, that's always what you ask. So very happy about that. Very excited about my new opportunity and very excited to be part of Piqua City Schools.
You want to introduce everybody?
Oh, yeah. All right, so I have Nolan, who's dressed in pink. He's my kindergartner this year. He has a piece in the art show on Saturday. Parker's my science guy. You can ask Mr. Straley about that. He's pretty unbelievable when it comes to science. And my wife, Erica, she is up for a continuing contract. She is talked about the Read 180. Everything's kind of connected. She will be teaching Read 180 next year, working with Angie Ford, I think. Also, my little Reddy, who refuses to wear shoes, he's running around in the school halls. My mother-in-law, Eva, was designated to watch him and make sure he didn't cause too big of an interruption. My aunt, Leslie, and my uncle, Tim. It takes a community to raise a kid. It also takes a great family. Leslie and Tim watch little Reddy, and she watched Nolan as well, just being helping us, me and my wife, be able to do all we can do for Piqua City Schools. So once again, I just greatly appreciate being here and grateful for the opportunity that I have.
Nice to have all of you here tonight.
It is welcome.
Definitely excited to have Heath on the team. Congratulations to Erica for the continuing contract, and congratulations as you guys are also community members. We're happy to have you part of the community at large too. So great stuff, and congratulations, AJ. We're looking forward to continuing this partnership. So that's the personnel agenda for this evening.
Okay. I have a motion to approve the personnel agenda. Or is there any questions? I have a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Did you second?
I need a second.
Oh, second. I thought.
Okay. And I'd ask the treasurer to call the roll, please.
Mr. Luby.
Aye.
Mr. Gregerson.
Aye.
Mr. Height.
Aye.
Mr. Bostic.
Aye.
Mr. Patrizio.
Aye. Moving on to old business. We have 3 items on here, and I would ask, most of them have what to do with policy. Does anybody have any questions regarding those items? And then can I have a motion to approve the items that are listed in the old agenda items?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Policies are adopted. And new business? You want to do this one?
Jeremy's going to do those,
Okay.
actually.
The first item on there is just Mr. Luby serves with OSBA in the regional area, and he does receive reimbursement for travel expenses. And so the board needs to approve a resolution on an annual basis to be able to continue that process. So this is a resolution just allowing Mr. Luby to continue to do that work.
Okay. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying A, and Mr. Luby abstains. Aye. Move on to number 2.
The second item you have before you this evening is the salary and compensation packages for the classified administrative staff. The approval is possible because we have 3 board members who do not have spouses that are part of the classified and administrative staff. So I'm asking for approval of that. It would be the same package as with the that we were discussing as far as the negotiated agreement for our administrative staff.
It will be noted that Mr. Gregerson and I abstain, and I ask for a motion to approve.
So move.
A second.
Second.
All those members besides Mr. Gregerson and I signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed signify by saying aye. The compensation has been approved. Moving on, item 3 has been removed from the agenda. We should have removed that. And move on to L, which is hearing of the public non-agenda items. I have nothing before me. Is there anyone out there who wishes to speak? Then our next meeting is May 25th at 6 p.m. at the Piqua High School. And June 3rd is our school board meeting is the, I have two things on here. I'm not sure what the June 3rd date is, but our next meeting is May 25th at 6 o'clock.
I should say June 13th on that.
You want to talk about June 3rd, Mr. Lands? It is the retire rehire.
It's the
Okay,
13th.
very good.
Oh, for the purposes of retire rehire, we have to propose now to the board that we're going to have a public session for a hearing for those people. We have two outstanding staff members that will be up for another contract every 2 years. Those get non-renewed, so that hearing will be on at the June board meeting as well.
Okay. Very good. With that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming.